Welcome to Nightlight. Step away from the mainstream and gather around as we enlighten the world and our realities and travel this cosmic journey we call life. Join us as we share with you and provide that beacon that can guide us all to a better way. Explore with us as we examine a metaphysical montage of spiritual insights, covering everything from the mundane to the magical, UFOs to unicorns, and everything in between. This is a time of awakening, of sharing and evolving, of spreading our wings and soaring on the cosmic breath of creation. Come and join with other light-minded spirits as we weave our lights together to seek understanding, enlightenment, and, with a little luck, some wisdom. This is Nightlight, a reminder that you are never alone.
Thank you for joining us tonight on Nightlight. I want to say hi to a new listener, Mary Helen, and my third mom. Asks so you grew up to be a talk show host, and so, there were a lot of detours, and spent about 45 years off the map. Now, kind of on the margin, but after 5 shows this week, both Barbara and I may go off the map. We have a variety show with a few common denominators like spiritual interests and educational value. All week you've been receiving a diversity of engaging topics, and there are more on the way Thursday and Friday, and those 2 shows are going to be excellent as well. For the first 3 weeks of June, Barbara's shows will be on Thursday. There's no real significance to that other than that was when the guests were available. But if you feel, for all the things that new shows that Nightlight is doing, and some of these scheduled changes, please check the website barbaradelong.com for show times and days. And since the listeners have helped us to expand so much, and if you like what you hear on the archive, please subscribe to our YouTube channel so we know you're listening. And you can even comment on the shows. Helps us to see if we're connecting with the listeners. My sidekick tonight is birthday boy David Collis. He has been a regular over the last couple of years, and last week David premiered his Nightlight show with volleyball as the backdrop of building leadership skills. That's a show worthy of checking out on the archive. We're talking about me being a guest for show number 2 about surviving dodgeball and other stupid gym class games. But we'll talk about that later. David is the author of the fascinating Profile of Jesus, Interviewing Jesus the Man. Pick up that book. It's excellent. David's website is davidcollis.com. And our guest is Pari Patri. She is also a return guest and is now collaborating with professional conference producer Marta Thomas, who has worked with Barbara and me over the last 4 years. Pari is an engineer, a lecturer on the healing power of pyramids, and is an award-winning women's empowerment entrepreneur. Pari's website is paripatri.com. Hi, David. Hi, Pari. How are you two tonight?
Hey, Mark.
Hey. Hey, David.
Hi there.
Hi, Pari.
Yeah, the weather the weather is great today.
I'm really looking forward to this show. It's going to be a lot of fun, and we have some really neat topics to delve into tonight. We do not need to summarize all the recent radical global turmoil, but maybe we can use this show as a way to introduce balance and other alternative strategies for more effective ways of coping. For example, if listeners saw Lenora Pfeffer's Facebook music stream today, David's very very familiar with her. She about crashed the studio when she was playing the Singing Bowls, but when she was doing her show today, she's playing her triangle. So it's kind of a lead into discussing the importance of triangles and the triangle shape and pyramids found around the world. And Pari, you had a recent interview with Dr. Sam Osmanagic. He's one of Barbara's favorite guests. So maybe let's start with the Bosnian Pyramid. His dating of it suggests that it's going to deep antiquity. What were the people discovering with the shape of what were maybe some of the ritual, something like that? What was going on there? What are the people taking away from this experience of being at the Bosnian Pyramid? And we could look at all the other pyramids that you visited. Your dad's been to Egypt. What have we been learning over the ages about pyramids?
Sure. Thank you. First of all, thank you for having me back. It's always a pleasure to be back on the show. And I love all the work that Barbara and you put out there. And I had a fascinating talk with David. So I'm really excited about this. The first thing that you started off, how in this times, what are the methods or what are the alternative, tools or, things that we can use to help us create that balance in our life. And I think pyramids are definitely one of on my top of the list because of the amazing abilities of healing abilities that they have. Also, not just it's not just the spiritual side or the emotional side, but also the physical and mental side. It's really something that absolutely changes the vibration, the frequency. And coming to Bosnian pyramids, Bosnian pyramid is twice the size of the Giza pyramid.
Wow.
People who have been there, I've spoken to numerous people there, incredible experiences of having healing, starting even from a headache to a cancer. People have experienced healing abilities there. And other than that, having getting more clarity in their heads, having that clear vision of their purpose. People who go there and meditate there, or even sit under the pyramid, to having a spiritual, awakening, spiritual connections, having their pineal gland activations, things like that. So it's pretty incredible. The powers are amazing, and it's definitely the shape power, the shape of the pyramid that is behind. That is the technology behind all of these abilities, and this is something that I've researched since last few years. And there's so much information that every time I get deeper, I still feel like I'm just starting off, and it's just amazing. I'm very, very fascinated about the subject.
So, Pari, maybe you can explain a little bit about the nature of pyramid energy and where you think it might even be originating from, or what you think it might be. Is it maybe harnessing the energies or amplifying the energies?
Yeah, absolutely. It's actually both harnessing and amplifying. So, going back to, I love reading the science behind it. The first thing that we know that the prana, the chi, or whatever we call the source field, the biofield is all around, everywhere. This guy called Nikolai Kozyrev, he's a Russian scientist who was actually in 1940s. He was a scientist for the space program in Russia, and then he was put in the concentration camps then, because all scientists were considered a threat to the communism. They didn't want anybody who is, well-read. So because they feared that they will know the real reason behind the communism. So they took all the scientists and put them in the concentration camps, and so did Nikolai Kozyrev. He was in for about 10 years inside the camp. And that's where he had a great revelation, spiritual revelation, in fact. That's where he started understanding the concept of time itself. And the torsion field, this is a term that he coined, came into play. Like he said that the time itself is actually a torsion field. Everything that we see, the gravity is a torsion field. And this torsion basically is everywhere, and it's actually working as creating that prana itself, or the cosmic energy, or whatever that we call. And the pyramid shape, and he has done extensive research on that. The pyramid shape, what it does is it's like the upside down funnel. It's a torsion field created that amplifies the source energy, which is now at a higher vibration. So it amplifies.
Do we lose her?
I can't hear her.
No, I can't hear her either, but she's still apparently on the switchboard. Well, if Pari, if you can hear us, maybe you should call in again.
Physical object changes.
Oh, there you are. We lost you for a while.
Oh, did you lose me?
Yeah, we lost
about,
you. You were just
about 20 seconds.
Yeah.
Oh,
but
okay.
you were discussing the issue of the torsion field within the pyramids and how it helps create the energy, and it helps, I guess, fold time. Is that correct?
Yeah. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay,
I can.
Perfect. Okay. So I was just saying that how he started discovering about this torsion fields, and the pyramids actually are generating these torsion fields and amplifying the energy, amplifying the cosmic energy. So anything we put under a pyramid actually changes the molecular structure of the object, physical object. It started with experimenting with razor blades. With Karel Darbal, he even has a patent actually created, a razor sharpener, a Cheops razor sharpener, which was pretty amazing. And it's just, when we start looking into it, the Russian science, it's incredible about how amazing the power of the shape does to, things around us.
And it seems as though scale doesn't really matter, but if the Bosnian Pyramid is twice the size of Cheops, what do you think is going on there?
Yeah, I mean, definitely there is a huge, it is definitely a huge, when we see from a spiritual perspective, it's a portal or, vortex that has been created. And now pyramids are being found everywhere. It's just not just in Bosnia. There are pyramids in Indonesia. There are pyramids in, of course, in, Mexico and Mesoamerica. There are pyramids in U.S., one of the ones, the Cahokia Mounds, that was the ancient one, that was one discovered. So they're everywhere. It's that's interesting. One of the interesting things, that cultures back time, they never met each other. They don't know, all this technology being shared, but yet everybody built pyramid structures, not a rectangle, not a square, but a pyramid. So that's the interesting point that I see, like how all these civilizations have built these pyramid shapes. How did they get this information without having this, like internet or whatever that we have right now? How did they communicate?
When Maria Wheatley's been a guest with us, she's talked about Stonehenge and Avebury, or kind of rudimentary compared to the later pyramids, but she also discussed that some of these stone circles were, it's like early hospitals, and you've been saying the same thing, with pyramids, going from like the oval shape or circular or oval shape to the triangular shape is creating the same healing properties, and people are having the epiphanies, awakenings, more clarity, and you also bring up in one of your videos about the it was the corner or a face of Cheops faces true north. How does that fit in with your understanding of the pyramids?
When we study these pyramids, especially the Cheops pyramids, they were all faced true north. One of the faces is faced true north, and from the research, they say that that's where they see the maximum effects of the pyramids. And also, one in the book, the science of the science of pyramids, written by Patrick Flanagan. He mentions that when they started studying about the time of the pyramids that were built, it looked like the true north was actually coincided with the magnetic north when the pyramids were built. So that's pretty interesting, because when we do experiments now, there's a lot of science behind why magnetic north, because it's electromagnetic forces that are working in alignment with that pyramids as well. So when we face a pyramid, when we do experiments like putting, charging your water or maybe preserving food, things like that, or razor blades, putting a razor blade underneath. When you face one of the sides to magnetic north, we see the effect maximum. But when we are building pyramids, like in India, we have built the organization that I am affiliated with, the Pyramid Spiritual Societies movement. We have built about 20,000 pyramids solely for meditation. And one of the key aspects is that they're all facing true north. One of the sides is facing true north. And that's when, with the research, that they have seen that this is the best that we can align with to get the maximum effect of the pyramid. So since we can't build a pyramid to magnetic north because that's going to be changing, all the time. So the best next thing is aligning with true north. And there are many theories. I mean, some say, it's the true north that's the best. Some say it's a magnetic north. That's a discussion which is ongoing. It's only when we start experimenting we'll start seeing, for ourselves what exactly is the right thing.
Okay, is there a certain dimension that is more effective than others? Most of these pyramids found across the world. Is there, like you said, the Bosnian pyramids that like twice the size of the Cheops pyramid? Are there other pyramids that are half the size of Cheops? Is there like a pattern in numbers, or the sides all like the same angle? Just kind of looking for some kind of pattern in dimensions and what effect that has on people.
Well, yeah, I mean the basic the basic requirement for the Giza pyramid is the angle. That has to be definitely the most important thing that we need to be mindful about, and it's 51 degrees 51 minutes. So that's the angle of Giza, 51 degrees. 51 degrees, and there is a variation between 51 or 82. That's a Cheops. When we see other pyramids, like the Russian pyramid, the angle is steeper. The sides are steeper, so the angle over there is 76 degrees, 345 minutes. So there are different angles, and what we see with these different pyramids is again, different effects of whether it's Russian, the Nubian pyramids, which are in Sudan, have 72 degrees angle. So the Giza pyramid is the only one which has this 51 degrees, and all the pyramids, even the Bosnian pyramid, is the same angle. The angle that we use to build pyramids in India is 51 degrees. But
interesting.
So it's all. So the basic is the angle. Once we get the angle right, that's where the frequency modulation happens with the angles of the of the shape. And we can, absolutely build them at our home with I remember David mentioned that he was building pyramids with paper, and the only important thing is to keep in mind is the angle.
Hey, Pari, I kind of would like to go back a little bit and just ask this question, and whether or not you might even know it, but when you read ancient mythology, you hear about the gods coming down and sharing ideas or helping us out in some way. Do you think that the pyramids might have been a revelation to our ancestors, or do you think that there might have been something going along, something happening in the ground like a ley line, and then certain people got activated and they have these ideas that maybe the pyramid would help create an amplification of the energies? Do you have any thoughts or understanding about kind of the origins of where the pyramids came from and what our ancestors might have been trying to tap into?
Yes. Definitely, this is again my personal belief about how pyramids came through. There are many, many theories about it. I definitely believe, of course, we are all from different planets. We are all from different galaxies. The pyramids, were from a technology, it's a very, very advanced technology. And it's not something that even engineers from the best engineers from modern time put that together now, the Cheops pyramid. It's such an incredible engineering. So this advanced technology definitely came from the higher, the other beings. When I do a lot of interviews, talking with the psychics or the channelers, and the most common answer that I received is this technology was given to us by Pleiadians.
The Pleiadians gave us the technology.
Yeah, that's the most common response that I've received from different channelings. And also, they were definitely here to amplify, create that. And as you said, mentioned the ley lines. The pyramid is built exactly in the middle of the ley lines, the vertical and the horizontal. They're in an intersection. They're laid out on an intersection where these two energies are coming through. And also in the book, one of the books that I've read, it's also interesting point to see that the pyramids. If you know acupuncture, we use needles to for at the exact energy centers. The meridians. Pyramids are those needles on Earth, activating and balancing the energies around. So that was one of the interesting points that I've read. And again, there are many other theories also, like using sound to elevate the stones. Maybe in Atlantis, a civilization, this would have been done, that they used the sound to elevate the stones and built it together with other higher density beings. So yes, I definitely, and again, all this, I definitely think that this technology is not from Earth. It is definitely from the other, civilizations.
And based off of some of the channelers and the psychics that you've spoken to, is there a reason why the Pleiadians were so willing to give us this technology?
Hey, David, I lost you.
Oh, okay. So the question was,
can you hear me?
I can hear you. So can you hear us?
Okay.
So Pari might have gone off again.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, she's really gone now. She's going to have to call back in.
Okay, let me
wait, I've
send
got
her.
I've got her.
Okay, sorry.
Okay.
This sounds like a better connection.
Yes. So you were asking a question, David, about the channelers.
I was asking the question, based off of some of the people that you might have interviewed who are psychics or channelers, and they said that the pyramid technologies came from the Pleiadians. So the question is there something about the Pleiadians that they wanted us to learn or know, and that's why they gave us these pyramids? So what is it that what were they trying to accomplish?
Well, I wouldn't know exactly what they want, but what my understanding is about understanding our own power, that we absolutely can heal ourselves with our own consciousness, with our own awakening. So pyramids are just tools to amplify what we have, what is within us. It's not some magic tool that it's just gonna enhance it just basically enhances what we have. I've seen many people who go in there, and of course, who have great transformations as they meditate inside it. But it's a tool for it's a temple for meditation. That's the best way to put it. Because the ultimate thing is that we need to go within ourselves. We need to be awakened to our own true power. And once we raise into that awakening or into that consciousness, pyramids can absolutely amplify us, take into different portals, different worlds. And I have seen that happening with different people. So pyramids are those connections that we can use. It is a tool that we can use to amplify our own vibration. But at the end, it's back to us. It is us who needs to who is a powerful creator. I mean, this is something that I say that we are the co-creators of this universe. There's nothing outside of us. So when we start going within, when we start understanding who we are, where we come from, and remember our own godhood or the power, all these technologies, then we start understanding how to work with them. Because if I just give a pyramid to one of my, say, corporate colleagues, he wouldn't know what to do. Okay, the most they would do is put it on a bananas or something to use it as preservation. But pyramids are absolutely more than that. They are the channels to to our own source, to our own awakenings. So for me, I see that they have this some power that is really changing the environment, because what we have seen, this is a very true example. In a place called Hyderabad in India, there is a road which has a lot of accidents happening on that specific road all the time because of the traffic, because of the location that is in. There's always been a lot of traffic. So what we have done working with the government guys is that we put these pyramids on the sidewalk on both sides across the road. Within months, this is like actual number. Nothing has changed, but the number of accidents reduced. So there is something definitely happening, and even in Kashmir, we had a pyramid built, and immediately after that built, there was a whole new revelation happened that in Kashmir, in North India. So there is so much changes, even from the environmental, from the earth, from in the society, the community, that has been changing as we started building pyramids. The vibration started shifting, and I can give the on and on examples in Russia. When what they did was they put salt and pepper inside the pyramid, and they took that salt and pepper and fed it to inmates in a prison. Within time, they started seeing elevated emotions of kindness and love. So what it did was it basically elevated our vibration, because in higher vibration we have those emotions. So there's so much research or so much evidence that we start seeing that it's just incredible of what it is actually doing to the planet. So for me, what I believe is actually raising a vibration. But it's not just a pyramid. We need to start meditating. We need to start going within and really understanding who we are, because I don't want to promote pyramid as another healing tool, and create the dependency or anything as crystals or pyramids, because I work with all of them. My main goal is to awaken that, we are the creators. We absolutely create our own realities. And these are all the tools, advanced tools that we can use to enhance our lives, to enhance our experience on Earth. I don't know if I answered that question, but that's my perception of what pyramids are.
Well, I think that's a really, really insightful and smart answer. And I want to just maybe go down this just a little bit further and ask, Is there anything that's special within the King's Chamber, within Cheops, that helps us even go further? I mean, is there something, there's a resonant pattern within that particular chamber that even amplifies the power even more?
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. The King's Chamber, which is the 3/4 of the pyramid, that's where the maximum, the effects have been seen. So in every pyramid that we build, there is a King's Chamber. And exactly the dimensions are important again, the height of the King's Chamber. And this is where when you meditate, it's a whole, it's like the potent energy right there. And also on the top of the pyramid, in the apex, we have a crystal. So the crystal is basically the most recommended crystal is a clear quartz, to put a clear quartz right up at the apex, so it amplifies the energy inside the pyramid. King's Chamber is definitely something that we have seen with the highest concentration of effects. Like when you go sit there, you will definitely see the difference.
And I understand that the King's Chamber, and correct me if this is wrong, but the proportions are 1 squared times 2 squared times 3 squared. So that's 149. Is that correct?
Okay.
So 1 unit wide, 4 units tall, 9 units long.
Well, that depends on the size of the actual pyramid. On top of the mind, I don't remember that, but I can definitely check with our engineer, who does that, to give the exact proportion, because I don't want to say something which is not right now.
That's just part of my, I'm a builder. I've done a lot of building, and so I just love all those ratios. So
right.
I remember reading about that.
Yeah, all I teach, I remember is the angles, which are definitely the right angles, the ones that I'm very concerned about. But yeah, I have the whole resources, like how it should be built, whether it's a cardboard or different, sizes, and based on the size of the pyramid, we design the King's Chamber, how the height of the King's Chamber, how big it should be.
Well, believe it or not, there's also within the Flower of Life, with all the circles, the circles within the circles and the intersecting circles. So that Flower of Life, when you connect a center point from one circle to another, and then you go up one, it turns out that angle is the same angle that you would find, as I understand it, in the King's Chamber. So even in the Flower of Life, there's this pattern that, as I understand it, the Egyptians were using. To build their pyramid.
Yeah, and also the golden angle, they call it, the height with the base, the phi ratio, which is again seen in in everywhere in the nature, in the universe. That's also embedded in the pyramid.
As I also was reading about it, it's like the golden triangle, the spiral was the layout on a large scale of a lot of important Egyptian buildings. So if you look at like 100 miles square, you would see buildings laid out in this golden spiral.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So they were really connected to the energies of the ground and to geometric shapes and forms. It's just really quite remarkable. And now we're talking about the nature of frequency and sound and whatnot and healing. So I know it all keeps getting more and more interesting. Of course, water, I'm sure, played some role within those pyramids as well. But, with kind of moving on, though, how is it that how do you want me, if I were to get a pyramid or even build a pyramid, what can I expect from some of the energies, and what should I do? How should I start working with the energies of the pyramid? How can I apply it in my life?
That's a great question, and this is something that I am very passionate about, introducing pyramids in our everyday life. So the first thing that I would suggest is, there are plenty of resources on how to build a pyramid, free resources out there, where you can just build a pyramid, whether it's a cardboard, it doesn't matter. Maybe maybe wooden pyramid or something. You can start using that, putting that in your bedroom or in your meditation room when you're meditating. Or the one thing that I always do, because I love, I work with women in coaching them with the work on manifestation, like really changing your programming, reprogramming your subconscious mind, and creating or attracting the life that you absolutely want. And one of the most absolute tool that I use is pyramids. So how do we do that? The one thing that I recommend is drink pyramid charged water. So you put so what we do is we take a glass of water, and not water in a plastic cup, but in a glass. When you're working to reprogram, it's best to use filtered water or distilled water. So there's no inbuilt programming within water. That comes with chemicals. So you take that water and you put the pyramid on top of it, cover it as a lid, and leave it for 8 hours. So I would leave it. I would put it in the night and leave it for 8 hours. The first thing in the morning I would do is think about my goal, my intention, and drink that water. Now, if you want to go advanced, you also can do is you can take put a label on that glass and write exactly what is that your intention is. Say if you say for me, like I used to do, like I want two clients in 2 days or whatever, like 10K. Whatever, or money or relationship, whatever that you want to really get specific and put it on there, on the glass. As Dr. Emoto Masaru, the Japanese guy, scientist who told us that the water can be programmed. And it's a highly programmable thing. So based on what the words, based on the music, it gets crystallized and creates the sacred geometry. So when we start putting words on the water, on the glass, it gets programmed. And we can also put crystals. Say if you're working on confidence, working on getting self-esteem, putting some citrine, clear quartz, and green aventurine would be great. And also I'm throwing in crystals, but you have to be mindful about what are toxic and what are not. The crystals that I just mentioned are safe to put it in water directly. For crystals that cannot be put in water, there are ways on how you can infuse that energy without actually touching the water. So put those crystals and then put the pyramid. I mean, you are making a really, really high potent programming tool that is going to be going directly into your body, and your body is 70% water, so you're programming yourself. So this is one of my most favorite ways of using a pyramid. And the second thing is, again, putting that if you are having not good sleep, and it really transmutes the electrosmog around us into positive energy. So that's one thing that I highly recommend. Like orgone pyramids are great for electrosmog. They take the two terms that the inventor of orgone talks about is positive orgone, dead orgone. Positive orgone is the life force, the energy that is used for creating life. The dead orgone is the damaged orgone because of the radiation around, or the 5G, the Wi-Fi, all these things around, the microwave radiation, or even negative thoughts, the toxic thoughts, emotions. If they are really inside, they are not cleared, that can create dead orgone. So when we bring a orgone pyramid, it again transmutes that dead orgone into positive orgone. So which is great for our homes. Just putting the pyramids around in the home, you'll start seeing the difference. In your house, in your bedrooms, in your kitchens. I put a pyramid right on top of my stove. So when I'm cooking, I put an intention that the energy is actually going into the food that I'm going to eat. So I always mindful about having charged food on my table. So when I'm feeding my children, I know that I'm giving them high vibrational food. So these are like very basic things that we can do and can get the benefit of these pyramids.
Any suggestions for like a little bit bigger pyramid that might be in your yard?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, having a pyramid in the yard is great. It totally changes the environment of your whole house. You will start seeing it, and also meditating, having that as a meditation space would be great. Even the growth of the plants, you will start seeing a difference. So yes, that's definitely a great idea to have a pyramid in the yard.
Do you recommend stone or copper?
Yeah, for me, the Giza pyramid, I recommend, even if you don't have complete copper, if you just even have the capstone as copper, you will start seeing the difference.
And you've even mentioned cardboard works. Could you discuss some of the other mediums that people can use if they want to build a pyramid in the living room or outside? You have a number of the pyramid tents across India as well. Those are some beautiful structures that your organization made.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, cardboard is good. We actually give out cardboard pyramids out when we do meditation events, so people can just try it out and see. Just the beginners. Stone pyramids, wooden pyramids. There are also plastic pyramids. But if you are if I give a plastic pyramid to a beginner, it probably, they probably will see the changes. But if I give a plastic pyramid to say a person who is very sensitive to energies, they will notice the difference that between a plastic and a copper pyramid. So personally, I don't prefer plastic. That's again because there are many evidences that plastic attracts positive ions, which is not good for us. So when I'm working with a pyramid, and and there are also research, it's not conclusive yet, about how if the positive ions that is attracting that the plastic is attracting, how is it working with the distortion, with the frequencies of the shape of the pyramid. So this is something that it's a personal experience that we can start experiencing with what really works for us, versus, because I know some people they like plastic as well, just to begin with. But as you get advanced, as you start getting more sensitive with this energies and frequencies, you would know the material that you would want to work with. And most often that I heard was the copper, even with the copper capstone. And this was also shown in many books, like when you connect, when your brain is connected to, the brain scanning, ECG, and then what they did was they put a person inside a pyramid, and it's just the tubes, it's not even the solid structure, and made them meditate. And what they saw was, as soon as they were meditating inside a pyramid, the alpha and theta wavelengths started really, really amplifying than they did meditation outside the pyramid. So that clearly showed that when they were inside the pyramid, the brain wave state starts changing, and it gets amplified very fast. And that's the reason why we recommend to sit inside a pyramid and meditate, because most often we hear people talking, oh, I can't concentrate, I can't, it's my mind runs like a monkey or whatever, so many excuses. So when you sit inside a pyramid and meditate, it really helps you amp up, you to get to that brainwave state. That is where, you start releasing stress or start reprogramming. The other ways that we can get there also is by using essential oils. When you de-excite our nervous system, that's when we start getting into meditation, that theta wavelength faster. But pyramids are those tools that can amp up that process. So that's one of the reasons why we build pyramids for meditation. But to your question, yeah, any material should be fine, as long as, you start. Any material for a beginner is fine. Cardboard, plastic, whatever you can get, just to get to, get used to those frequencies.
And while we've been talking about the angles of the pyramids, Barbara sent me a note about the Marcel Vogel crystals are cut on the same angle that the pyramids are built on. So
right.
I thought that was interesting how it's not always, these huge, bulking structures, and you get smaller, like handheld crystals also have the same angles and seem to be creating the same effects.
Yeah, absolutely. So another thing that I use, I'm also an energy worker. So when I do energy work, I actually, like when we work on chakra balancing or things like that, we can, for all the energy workers out there who's listening right now, this can be a game changer. So when we put crystals on our energy centers, on the chakras, that's the way we start balancing and do body layouts. We can add another layer by adding the pyramid, smaller pyramids on top of the crystals, or use a crystal pyramid as well. So which really amplifies the effects. In the crystal world, the pyramid, the shape of the pyramid means receiving the energy. So like a point is actually directing the energy outside, but in the pyramid shape, in the crystal world, when we start working with crystals, it's actually receiving. So it's great for people who are caregivers, who are, mothers or, new moms or who are caregivers. This is great so that they can start receiving more and more energy, and when, the exhaustion that they feel, they will start seeing the difference with that, when they start working with crystal pyramids. But we have, small 2x2 sized pyramids. I call them as chakra pyramids. So that's a copper pyramid, a solid copper 2x2 pyramid. So you put that on top of a crystal when we do body layout, so that it amplifies the effects of energy work. And also, in fact, other thing, you can, if it's a massage therapist, they can put a pyramid under the table. So when the person is giving a massage or body work or energy work, whatever they're doing, they will see that it amplifies the effects. So it's really a tool that everybody can start using in whatever field they are.
What?
And you're referring to a pyramid as the four-sided pyramid, is that correct, as opposed to a three-sided?
Yes, as a four-sided.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mark, you were going to say?
Probably was 2 years ago when we had our first phone call, and I didn't realize that you were vacationing in England. So it's like, calling you, it's actually pretty late at night. But that was our first discussion, and you're in England. How are people around the globe and all these places where you've done your business travels? how are they embracing these concepts? Are they pretty open to these new ideas, or they've been agreeing with these ideas for a long time? How are other cultures embracing these concepts?
They, in fact, when we do meditation events in different countries, all the people that we talk to, they absolutely understand. First thing is everything that we are talking, and they know about it. They have read somewhere, or they have this information, and people absolutely resonate. We have built now pyramids in Vietnam, Indonesia, one in Europe, I believe in Croatia. These are all small pyramids, not the ones that we have in India, the big ones where 5,000 people can fit. But these are smaller ones. But yes, they do have this understanding, and what basic the pyramid they have read somewhere, or they have known about the power of pyramids. But when we start getting deeper into like really giving them the experience of giving them a pyramid hat or something to sit under and meditate, that's when they start seeing the difference. Even when I did a expo in New York, the New York Expo, Life Expo, we put a pyramid in our booth, like an open pyramid with the tubes, and we just asked, just come in and try it out and see for yourself. And people would just walk in there, they would stop, they would sit inside the pyramid, and they would be like, even though it's so chaotic around here, I could still sit and meditate. I could still, get into that zone. So it's about when people start really sitting there and experiencing it, that's when they start really, believing it. So, it's pretty amazing to see that response everywhere now. People are talking about this. The organization now has been in Australia, New Zealand, China. We are just doing all these events now with all these different countries. Romania. In Romania, there's a person called Cristiana Eltroian. She's a pranic healer who works with Just Muhin and other pranic healing leaders. The one big thing they all talk about is the pyramids, the vortexes that the pyramids is actually creating on Earth.
And people can go to pyramidseverywhere.org and see samples of what you're talking about. And you have or some of those biggest tent pyramids, the ones with the 5,000, where the 5,000 people can sit in there and meditate.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just really astounded with those photos.
Are they all being kind of guided by a teacher, and are they talking about kind of how to meditate and where to go and what to think about in these big groups?
Yeah. This organization was founded by my father. His name is Subhash Patri, and they call him as Brahma Shri Patriji. Back in 1990. And the main purpose of this organization is to teach meditation to every person, every nook and corner of the planet. That was his vision. And the second thing is teaching about plant-based food, teaching about how that amplifies the effects of our lives. And the third aspect is the pyramid energy. Pyramids building solely for meditation. So this was his mission back in 1990. He was an agricultural officer. He quit his job, and one fine day he said, "You know what? I'm gonna. This is my purpose. I'm gonna teach to everybody." And he decided to do that without charging money. So everything since then, he started. Anybody he would see, he would be like, "Hey, come here, sit here, and meditate." And that's how he started. 1 person, 2 person, 3 person, and today there are millions of people doing this meditation in India and across right now. So, and the main mission or the meditation is easy. There are no levels in such advanced or basic or whatever. There's only one simple technique. It's a Buddhist technique. It's called Anapanasati. That means in breath, out breath, and union. So basically observing our in breath and out breath, focusing on our breath, and allowing and gently bringing when the mind wanders, gently bringing back to the breath. There is no chanting. There is no having a God's image in your visualizing. Nothing as such. It's just you and your breath. It's a non-religious, non-cult, all of that stuff, and that's it. This basic information. He went to every village, every house, every town, by walk, by bus, whatever he could find since 1990 to teach this meditation and build pyramids. And the first pyramid came up in 1990, where 300 people can sit. That's when I really grew up in that pyramid. I used to meditate for 8 hours, 10 hours, 12 hours continuously in that pyramid, and that's how my childhood was actually in the pyramid meditating. That's all I knew.
Yeah, I know when I was younger, I was out playing sports. You were meditating. Hey, tell me, why meditation?
Well, meditation, breath, the concept is that breath is our teacher. Breath is where we go within. We go within us. Meditation is the process to go within, to our source, to really know who we are, to really understand that we are the creators. Again, going back to that, we are all gods. So the one thing that we teach to any person who comes and learns meditation is we are all masters. There is no teacher-follower relationship. Everybody is a leader. Everybody is a master. So every person who learns meditation goes out there and teaches meditation. It's not like a guru, like my father is a guru and only he has to initiate or whatever. That's not the concept. Everybody is a master. Everybody can teach because we are all from the source and we are all one. So that's the basic concept of what we teach. So meditation is the way to go within and realize that there is no death, that we are just, the physical body is just a vehicle that is here to have an experience, the 3D matrix experience. Death is just a transition to go back where we came from, to explore other worlds. So understanding that realization that death is just transition, understanding the concept of karma and all of that, understanding that we create our own realities, all these expansion of consciousness, expansion of awareness happens when we start meditating, when we start going within, shutting the external world. So that's why meditation. So it's one of the most important things. And I teach in science as well. I go to corporates and teach meditation, but I talk more science there about how brains, work with meditation. But it's really, it's our connection to our own godhood. It's seeking my father always says that saying, the Bible saying, seeking the kingdom of God within. It's about going within and seeking that kingdom of God is through meditation.
Indian tradition is very long and it deals with the nature of self-discovery. So, can you explain a little bit about what the self-discovery is? I have an understanding of it, but I just think that maybe you can bring to light from your perspective of what that means to you, and also, what does the map look like? Once you start going in within, what does that look like?
So, the map looks like is once we start meditating, we start understanding, having that expansion of our perceptions. So for me, when I talk about frequencies or vibrations, all of that is a difference in perception. As our perception shifts, our frequency shifts. When I see, say for example, if I didn't know about reincarnation, I didn't know about past lives, and I see that this life is the only life I have, and I'm, it's like I'm. Things happen in our life. We attract people in life. We don't know why we attract. People die in our life, and that again creates that whole grief thing. And we live in a lot of unknown. Like there's a lot of things that we do not know. We understand, and we seek to understand. But when we start understanding about past life, about reincarnation, our perception shifts. Then we go into a bigger picture. I read the book Many Lives, Many Masters by Brian Weiss when I was a kid. And when I read that book, I was, oh my goodness, I was like amazed. Like that really opened up a lot in me. Like things like this is not just it. We attract people into our lives based on our past lives as well. Things happen for a reason. And it's nothing just happens. Nothing is just a coincidence. So understanding that perception shift increases our awareness, increases our frequency. So we have more compassion towards other people, towards the things that happen to us. So that is the key, is expanding that compassion within us. Understanding, not judging others. Like we understand people better. We communicate better. We don't live judging other people, that why this person has done that, why that person. Because I am an Indian this life, but I may be a black person in my last, maybe a white person in my last life. I may be born in China in one of my lives. So I have been there. I have experienced all of that. So when I have that understanding, in this life, I will stop judging others. I will live with more compassion with each other. So that's one of the keys, that when we start increasing our awareness, we become more love-based and more heart-centered. And the way we start looking at each other starts shifting. So that's one of the keys of what happens when we go within, is that map, is that our perception starts shifting, our frequency starts shifting, and we become more. That's how what we call the light workers is going within and becoming that light, and activating that compassion mode, and not judging others.
Yeah, I've noticed that's what happened with me. It's just like my mind starts to open. I have a longer vision. I can start seeing things, and my heart starts to open, and you can just start feeling more energy, more people, more. I've just found myself more compassionate to animals and plants and others and whatnot. Right. But I would like, maybe you can go ahead and describe a little bit about this idea. But can you tell us a little bit about what self-discovery is? What is it? What is that? And what am I discovering?
Okay, so my definition may be a little different. So for me, self-discovery is just expressing myself in the moment, and I'm always discovering experiences in the moment. It is, I know already that I am a master. I am the source. I am the co-creator. So there's nothing that for me to realize or for me to remember or go back. But for me now, the self-discovery is, what are the different experiences or shades that I can experiment with? So there are three things. One is, first, experiment. Second thing is, we start experimenting things. Like we start, doing things or doing things in our lives, getting out of our fears, getting out of our comfort zone and experimenting. The second thing is experiencing. Is now, once we start experimenting, we start experiencing. And when we experience, we expand. We have more information, more knowledge, or more wisdom. So these are the three things for me. Self-discovery is experiment, experience, and expand. So, and all of that is happening in the now moment. Is when we, again, the self-discovery starts with no judgment and no attachments. We are here not judging myself, how can I do this or why am I doing this? This present moment, the moment right now is completely different from the moment that we started this conversation. It's a completely new moment. So with me not judging myself, just experimenting and accepting who I am and having that experience is for me is self-discovery. Constant self-discovery. Every second I'm discovering myself. That's my definition.
So those three ideas are experience, experiment, and expand.
Experiment, experience, and expand. So first is experiment. First, we need to have the courage to experiment.
Those are great.
Yeah, that is how I discover. Like, unless we experiment, we are not gonna have that experience. And an experience is what we are here in this matrix. To have an experience of what it is to be a father, what it is to be a mother, what it is to be living in America, being a white guy or a black guy or an Indian or a Chinese, whatever that is, different perceptions, different experiences. And we are all here to do that because we know who we are. We are the masters. So it's that this famous, the popular thing, we are here, we are spiritual beings having a human experience. So we are here having a human experience.
And you mentioned a plant-based diet a few minutes ago. Several of my friends have posted, I'm going to be eating right to boost my immune system instead of taking the vaccines, and just stuff like that. As this virus thing unfolds even more, but I think more people are looking in that direction for better nutrition instead of more medications. What does this plant-based diet do for people?
Well, that's a whole big subject. Plant-based food is, there's so much research. There's a whole website, plantbasedresearch.org, where we talk about how it's actually the most, completely shifts us, from a health standpoint of view, from an energy standpoint of view, everything. The Campbell, the guy who did research on cancer in China, that was one of the major studies where, what he figured out was the meat eating is actually the source where there was a lot of cancer in China. I believe it was in 1980s or so. He has a whole book website on that. And now there's so much of research about plant-based food, how it's absolutely the diet required for having the health that we want, having more energy, having having no diseases. I stopped. I was a vegetarian all my life. I was born into a family of vegetarians, and I chose to be vegetarian afterwards. But recently, like 2 years, like a year back, I had thyroid issues and all of that stuff, and because of my pregnancy. And then I've read about plant-based food, about, what it does. And I thought, okay, let me give it a try and see what happens. I gave up dairy, cheese, butter, everything to do with dairy. After 3 months, I went and checked up, and my thyroid was gone. It was as if nothing was there. I used to take Synthroid for it. That's one of the most popular, medication for it. And the doctor actually said she was actually encouraged me who to get into plant-based food, vegan food. She was like, this is exactly what we recommend for people with arthritis, for people with diabetes, thyroid, every disease can be eliminated just with our diet. And again, when I say diet, we have to be mindful about what we eat. Just eating junk food, just eating potatoes all the time would not work. So we need to eat more plants, more green food, more greens, nuts, avocados, things like that, having a proper diet. And it also affects our mental status. We think more clearly. And from a spiritual standpoint, that is the best thing for meditation. So you're more, again, from a spiritual standpoint, it's about going back to the compassion that we talked about. Loving everything, loving nature, loving birds. Birds are our friends. Animals are our friends. Fishes are our friends. So we treat them as we treat our own, neighbors, as we treat our own kind. So that's the compassion part, is when we start. I've seen many meditators who are meditating. When they start meditating, they automatically start repelling eating meat. And that's the compassion thing that we talk about, is elevating, being in that mode and treating everybody equal, treating everybody with compassion and love, including animals, birds, and fishes. Anything to do with physical heart, anything that has a physical heart. So, well, so there's a whole book, movie on Netflix, Game Changer, which is great to start if anybody is interested to start learning about it. That's one of the, best way to begin watching Game Changer. And there's Forks and Knives on Netflix, which they can start watching to get into it.
Okay, and David, in your book, Interviewing Jesus the Man, you mentioned that there's the very real possibility that Jesus went to India for more advanced studies. You have the mustard seed parable. So since we're talking a little bit about cooking, Pari, do you have any recipes of a quick side dish that would be vegan that people would really enjoy?
Yeah, absolutely. I know we talked about this. I can share a very basic recipe that can be used for any vegetable.
Okay.
I know most people like potatoes. I'm going to go with that potato fry. And this recipe can be used for anything, like eggplant, carrots, anything that you want. You can just switch the vegetable and use the same recipe. So this is one of the recipes that we make at home all the time, which is also comfort food. So you would need, I'm going to give a very basic ingredients for this recipe.
Okay.
You would need mustard seeds. Mustard seeds are something that goes in every... Yeah, I'm going to start with that because that goes in every dish that we make. So we have mustard seeds and cumin seeds. Mustard and cumin, these are the major ones that you would need. And turmeric. Turmeric is something that we put in every dish, that goes with every dish.
Wow.
Yeah, so you would need turmeric, cumin seeds, and mustard seeds, and some salt and red chili powder. Of course,
what kind of powder?
Spicy. Red chili powder.
Red chili powder.
Yeah. I mean, we make it spicy, so you can, add that according to, your level.
Yes, I eat some of your spicy foods, and I like spicy food. But boy, it can get hot.
Me too.
Then you will like this. So basically, we take potatoes and cut them into small cubes, and we put a little bit of oil. And first thing is, in that little bit of oil, just like 2 spoons of oil, you put cumin seeds. You fry them. It will splutter. At that point, you would put cumin seeds, first you would put mustard seeds, and then you would put cumin seeds, and then throw in some. If you want onions, you can throw in some onions, and then the potatoes. That's it. You saute them for a bit, and then after like 5 minutes of sauteing, you put turmeric and cook them. Once they are ready, then put salt and red chili powder. That's it. Done. It's very, very simple.
All right. There we go. There's Nightlight's first culinary arts segment.
And that's what you've been,
yeah.
and you've been wanting that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
just get,
and also,
go to the archives and you can listen to what was just said on how to prepare it, and in case you just tuned in halfway through that cooking segment.
Well, this sounds delicious.
It is delicious. Like, it's one of my. You can eat it with rice. I mean, normally we eat it with rice, or we call it as chapati, the bread. So you can eat it with that. And also, one thing that last you can add on like seasoning is put some cilantro. Cilantro is also something that we use for every dish. Just put in some cilantro, just enhances the flavor of that vegetable.
So what do you do for some of the food for ceremony, or for something on special days, special calendar days? What kind of food do you make for that?
Wow.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, there is so much that I can go on and on. And also, surprisingly, we have like so many varieties, which is all vegetarian. Like, there's that you can really go crazy with the ingredients with no meat. So it depends. So I come from South India. So the South Indian food, at least from the family that I come from, is very simple. Like, just the basic stuff that I just talked about, we use that in every cooking. We make vegetables, like beetroot vegetable is one of my favorites. Carrots. So we take the basic vegetables and, saute and cook them or fry them. But my husband, he's from North India, the west of India, the Bombay. In India, every state has its own language. Every state has its own culture. Every state has its own cuisine. So when you start traveling, if you go from one state to another, you'll see completely the style of dressing changes, the language changes, the food changes. You won't get the same food that you ate in the other state. So it's very different. So from where he comes from, so for ceremonies or days, completely different set of food from what I make. So in our house, if there is say a festival or something that is from my side, even every culture has its own festivals, its own days of celebrations. So when something of my culture comes in, so then I prepare the food that I come from. And when his thing comes in, so we make food of his state or his culture. So it really depends on if you're talking to any Indian, it can be completely different. The recipe I gave is from South India. So this is in North India, they don't use some of the ingredients that I use. So yeah, it really depends on who you're talking to, where they are coming from, and what their culture is.
Do you like those types of festival days where you get to do a lot of cooking?
Yeah, I do love. I mean, it is fun to do a lot of cooking, and we make a lot of desserts at home. So for me, like, South Indians eat a lot of rice. That's their staple food. North Indians eat a lot of bread, the rotis or chapatis that you normally get in an Indian restaurant. And by the way, whatever you eat in an Indian restaurant, a typical Indian restaurant, is not the food that we eat in our houses. We eat that only at a restaurant. We don't cook them at home.
Oh yeah, like no dal or vindaloo. That's all. That's not what you cook.
We don't make we don't make them at home. We have a complete set of different. That's just for the restaurants.
All right. Well, I'm gonna have to come over to your house and try some of your food.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. I would welcome all three of you to come and enjoy some Indian food.
Okay.
That's great.
Okay. Well, I guess. Well, we still have 35 minutes before we can put our shoes on and head over there.
So, Mark, did we cover your culinary show segment?
Yes. Yeah, I was very pleased. Thank you very much. And hope that gets people started on just a new little side dish to try out as they begin eating more healthy food. But I'm very appreciative. Thank you. But I do want to leave a little bit of time to discuss your webinars coming up, and like I said at the beginning of the show, you're back working with Marta Thomas, and you have some interesting speakers coming up. I just want to save a little bit of time to discuss the webinars you have planned for the first half of the summer.
Sure. Thank you for bringing this up because this is something that I really wanted to mention so people can take advantage of that. We have started an organization, a non-profit organization called Pyramid Spiritual Societies Movement Global. And this is where Marta Thomas is one of our directors of this organization. And the purpose of this, or mission of this organization, is to collaborate with other heart-centric organizations, individuals, to promote and co-create events to promote the message of meditation and compassion and pyramid science to the planet, to the world. So, as a part of this, as and when we started this organization, the COVID started. So we have switched completely into now the online-based events, which really has opened up a lot of opportunity to connect from across the globe. So we have already started doing events, and all these events are free. We are bringing in speakers, amazing speakers from all around the globe to talk about spiritual science, to talk about pyramids, to talk about plant-based food. So these are the major three concepts. And also my father, he does flute. He plays flute. So he leads a flute meditation in all of these events. The first one, I would like to give a couple of websites here. The first one is on June 7th, this actually coming weekend. It's a Digital Meditation Summit, UK version. And on June 13th, we have Digital Meditation Summit, USA. The best way is to go to the YouTube channel, youtube.com/PMC Global. PMC Global, subscribe to that, and you will get all the, you can see all these events for free on the YouTube. So every Saturday we have an event starting this June 7th. And one of the next big events, a 24-hour event happening on the Yoga Day, the International Yoga Day, which is June 21st. And the website for that is diyd.org. Sorry, diyd.online. diyd.online. This is the Yoga Day, International Yoga Day, organized by our team from India, from Delhi. They have done an amazing job. So 24 hours of complete immersion into speakers, music, meditation. So we're bringing in musicians from India, from all over the world to, for celebration, for music, meditation, whatever that, we can connect to, and speakers. It's a global speaker, so from different parts of the world. That's you can register that to get a very customized pass on that website, and also the link. Once you register, you get the links to watch it for free. So that is the next big event, and the one event that we are organizing is with Martha Thomas is ssim.org. Sorry, ssimlive.org. I have so many stuff going on; it just gets confusing. This is
wow.
Spiritual Science International Meet. This is a 3-day event. So we are doing a 3-day event right now. So, and we are working on getting speakers like Valerie Uvarov, Marshall Lefferts from Resonance Academy to talk about pyramids. And we are getting, we have also collaborated with First Unity Church in St. Petersburg, the spiritual campus of First Unity. In fact, the CEO of that campus, Temple Hayes, is one of our directors. So we are bringing them as well onto as they are hosting the event as well. And also one of the other hosts for the event is from Mark Karen from Conscious Living Network Radio. So they have collaborated with our organization to bringing this event together. So all these are our partners, and 3 days of complete, again, music, meditation, spiritual science, and pyramid science. So if anybody is interested, again, to get a customized pass, what does that mean? That means you can get on inside the Zoom meeting, and you can have actually a special interaction with the speakers. So if you would like that, please register on ssimlive.org. And all these events will be shown live on PMC Global YouTube channel. And also we have, again, in August, it's again going further, we have Digital Meditation Summit Vietnam, completely in Vietnamese. We have Digital Meditation Summit in China, Chinese languages, and Spanish. Spanish is also, we have started a whole Spanish movement, and this is happening on August 22nd. So as you say, June, July, August is completely booked with all these events. So all they have to do is just go and subscribe to the channel. They can also, our website is also under construction right now, pssmglobal.org. Hang on one second.
Okay.
I can hear some little ones wanting attention.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. She just saw me, so she's just started crying right now. But yeah, I have.
It's not that bad of a show either.
Yeah, I have a 4-year and a 3-year-old, so it's it's quite a challenge. Yes, completely.
It's a fun age.
Yeah, it is. It is a lot of fun.
Pari, are you part of the group that's organizing all of this and setting it all up and coordinating it? And
Yep, I do all of that. Setting up.
That is a lot of work.
It is a lot of work, getting speakers on, coordinating it, and putting that live, and also, and I have a great team. I must say, I have a team that works, around the clock, creating flyers, creating posts, putting it out there. It's a lot of work, and but again, I don't do it alone. I have a great support system who does this work. And all of this is voluntary work. People come and help me just because they want to help, and that's the incredible part of it. Because I work with people who get really happy, who are happy to do this work. So I have a team in India, or here in China, Vietnam. So these are all really amazing meditators who come together for the whole purpose of spreading this message. The whole organization is a voluntary organization and works solely on donations. So all this work we are only doing on donations. So any donation, if anybody listener, if this is resonating, please I would put it out there that you can go to our website, pssmmovement.org, and check it out there, the whole work that we are doing. And the donations can be made to pssmglobal@gmail.com via PayPal or Venmo. So it's really incredible to see all these people coming together and working. I mean, there's nothing that they're getting. They're not getting paid to do this work. They're not getting any, special benefits. It's just because they want to do it. So that's really wonderful.
And okay, go ahead, David.
No, I was just commenting just how terrific all that sounds, and what an amazing concept to have everything happening this summer. And I'm sure it's all very important, work. I mean, think about what we're dealing with right now, and then how we can start changing the energy.
Right.
Terrific.
Yeah. Yeah, everything is happening. Yeah. Yes, Mark.
Oh, I was just going to say, and working with Marta is a great experience. She did so much to help Barbara and me to some guests probably 4 years ago, and she connected me to you a couple years ago. So, yeah, and she was assembling a great lineup of presenters for the Global Pyramid Conference in Chicago for a couple years. So she has a lot of expertise in dealing with a lot of big name people who know this material very well, and the conferences seem like that they were a big success. And Barbara and I worked with her for a couple of years to help get people there. So I'm glad you're working with her and continuing to collaborate.
Yeah, I mean, she is absolutely an amazing lady. I met her a couple of years back as well. Just the time of the global conference, that's when we met. She actually saw my father in New York, a vegetarian convention, and that's where they met. And since then, she's been hooked. She came to India. She went to all the pyramids in India with my father. And
wow.
Yeah, she was completely blown away. And now, I mean, I can say she's my mentor, teacher, working with, organizing all these events, getting the speakers. It is no joke. It is serious work, putting all this together. But she has been there. She's really, really the one behind the scenes, bringing everything together.
Okay. And you've also mentioned you like working with raw crystals, and we had Barbara. You reminded me that the Marcel Vogel crystals were cut. We have a show coming up. I think it's later this month on crystal skulls. So, what are you finding about working with raw materials versus what we may be hearing about the polished crystal skulls? What is there a difference between working with raw and finished products? I mean, I work with both of them. I work with raw, and I also work with polished. They all have different frequencies. They all have different vibrations, and they all have specific purposes. So it's based on our own intention. We kind of choose what works with us. So, for example, doing a body layout, maybe doing like chakra balancing, working with tumbles, or having a personal touch stones. Polished ones like tumble stones work great. They're easy to carry, and and it's not that
just because we polish, they lose their vibration. It's just a different energy that we experience versus when we take polished versus raw. So it definitely depends on what is the intention. First thing, what kind of intention that you have, and the second thing is the purpose. What is your purpose of having those crystals, and also your personal in tune, like your vibration relationship with that crystal. So I work with both. I like both raw, and sometimes when I do crystal grace, I use all raw crystals, and I like to work with big crystals as well. But sometimes I like to work with polish. Say, for example, like the wands. Some of the crystals don't come in a wand shape. You have to polish them. But for the purpose that I'm using, say, rose quartz or amethyst, a wand, that works best for the purpose that I'm doing. So it really depends on what is your intention, what is your purpose, and what are you in tune with, how to work with it. So yeah, and also like the pyramids that are polished in the crystals that are polished in pyramid shapes, sphere shapes, and all those geometry has its own vibration. So it's really a layering of vibrations that comes into package.
Have you had any chance to work with any of the 13 crystal skulls or see them?
Yeah,
them?
I work with skulls. Basically, skulls are one of the primary purposes is to that have been used it's like a storage of information that gets transferred. So I work with that kind of information. Like it is how to explain. So it's like a step down transformer for the vibration of if any kind of channeling that comes in that can be stored in that skull and then can be transferred to when needed. So I do work with skulls. Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say. So, are you a channeler?
No, I am not a channeler. I am not a channeler.
Okay.
But I get some intuitive messages. Like I work with them in the sense of receiving information and transmuting into my own, taking it in with my own intuition. So I don't channel any messages for anybody. It's my own intuitive messages that I receive.
How fantastic. Yeah, I got to experience the crystal skull called Max. So I got to actually hold it. So it's the size of your head. My head was heavy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really quite remarkable. Even though I'm very intuitive and empath, I don't have the same kind of experience as you do. Maybe there's a delayed reaction, but however, last year I got to deliver 7 crystal skulls to a man that's building the temple out in out in New Mexico.
Mhm.
So, yeah. So I have experiences with the crystal skulls, and I actually have a couple small ones here in my house. And I love to see them. I love kind of them around, but they don't seem to be talking to me. So if they are, it's all in silent mode.
Yeah, I mean, you never know how you receive these messages. It can be just like an attitude shift, a perception shift. It doesn't necessarily have to be like a voice in your head or a vision or something like that. It can be just your knowing within you. For me, that is what it is. I don't necessarily receive messages in the sense when I do get that information, it's not a voice or it's not a vision. People mostly get, they expect to receive messages in a particular form. For me, it's more of a knowing, like, I just know stuff. And I don't know how, it's just a knowing within you that you have. And probably that's your clear sense of having that information.
Well, I know that since I've been out here in the desert, I have been much more sensitive to the plants. And I feel as though the plants, I go, oh, he's telling me he needs water.
Yeah.
It's the craziest thing.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And, you just know that. You don't know how it's coming. You're not listening or seeing anything, but you just know. And there's no logic to it. And once we start trusting that knowing, it gets more and more and more rock solid. Like that relationship increases. So that's how it happened to me. For me, it's just you just know it. You don't have a question. You don't have a doubt. You just know stuff.
So do you have like kind of a daily practice where you spend time, meditating for 10 minutes a day? And especially how do you manage as a mother of two small ones? What do you do? When they're taking a nap or when they're sleeping?
I make a point I meditate every single day. That's my must in my practice because the amount of work that I do, I have my own business. I work as a women's empowerment leader. I do energy work. I do women gatherings. So there's a lot on my business that I do. And now with this whole organization, putting up the events, working on that. It's a whole different stuff. And working as a full-time mother now because of the whole situation, the daycares are closed. So my kids are home all day. So it's really, to keep up with all this, I need to have my super, ingredient, which is meditation. So, yeah, I have to meditate every single day. To, even also to stay away from drama in our life. There's so much drama everywhere. To stay focused, to stay on our path, not getting drawn into the drama around us because that's a whole big energy drain. So I need to meditate so that I'm elevated. I'm in high energy status. So I meditate in the night. As soon as I put them to bed, I sit and meditate. And I've also noticed that when I meditate, I don't need so much sleep. I am good with 5 hours of sleep or 4 hours of sleep. I don't need 8 hours when I meditate. Only when I don't meditate, I need that much sleep. So you don't have to have so much sleep. Just meditate for an hour in the night, and you're set. And it really, I really see the difference in my life, in performance, in handling things, managing stress, all of that stuff.
I remember reading.
Go ahead, David.
I was going to say that I remember reading a Buddhist monk, and the question is, well, how often do you meditate? And he goes, I have to do at least 30 minutes a day. But if I have a lot of work to do, it's an hour.
Yep, exactly. It's like when people tell me like, oh, I don't have meditation, that means they don't know how to manage their time effectively. So they need to meditate. That's the exact reason why they need to meditate.
And, the whole thing that you were saying, one of the big lessons I've learned, and it's always a challenge, is don't get caught up in the human drama. And because that can just take our energy away and it can take our focus away. So.
Oh, yeah. I remember,
lesson learned.
Yeah, when I started the organization, there was so much drama that happened. I started thinking about it. When things happen, when you get pulled into a drama, like you start focusing and you start putting that energy, why did that person say this, or why did I say this, or why did that happen? And I could see myself like getting drained. I was not, happy. I would replaying that situation in my mind again and again. And, and there was one person in my life at that point that was really creating that drama. And I was like, what do I do? How do I get, remove this person from my life? How do I do this and that? And I was like going crazy. And I said, that's when I decided, you know what, in that project, I'm going to take a few days break. I don't know how long. This is exactly what I wrote in my email. There was some meeting that was arranged, and I was asked to, I was called to be there in that meeting, where I had the same person that created drama. So I sent out an email saying that, you know what, I need to take myself, meditate, and figure out my priorities. So just let this let's just hold on to this meeting. And I went back and I started completely shifting my focus, completely taking my mind away from that particular situation. Within 3 months, everything changed. That person was no longer in my life. There was no drama. Everything in my life changed. So it is so powerful that all we have to do is just shift our focus and find something that makes us happy and do that and makes us, find something passionate. And that whole situation has just changed. There was no more drama, no more person to create that drama. And I remind myself every time of this, like if I get into drama, I lose my focus, I lose my energy, I lose my, clarity in my mind. So there's no time or, energy for drama in my life. So
those are such good lessons to learn. And, you just have to, give everything up to the universe, and then you have to kind of go within and find your own center in a sense.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's so important for, anything. Even right now there's so much happening. It just takes up, it feeds on our energy, all these people who create drama or who, crave for attention.
As we approach last eight minutes, I want to give you plenty of time to plug your the YouTube sites where they can watch the webinars and David, and then after Pari finishes, you could plug your book and website, and I think we'll probably be pretty close to finishing the show. So, please remind us of how we can check out your webinars.
Absolutely. So one thing that I want to say is anyone who want to get in touch with me for any, whether it is women's work, the work that I do in manifesting, or I've created a program called Conscious Leaders Bootcamp where we work on mindset, creating winner mindset. We work on activating these tools that I just mentioned, crystals, pyramids, working with different techniques, grounding techniques, visualization techniques to amplify your intention and really manifest the things in your life faster. So the best way to get in touch with me is going to my website, paripatri.com. There is a way you can schedule a call with me, a complimentary 30-minute call to discuss what it is that you're looking for in your life and how, if my programs can help you get there. And also I have a YouTube channel. This is my personal channel where I do a lot of videos on, whether it's pyramids or mindset or just on crystals. It is youtube.com/Pari Patri, PARIPATRI. And if you want to get in, email me. The best email is connect@paripatri.com. I have a whole pyramid mastery course that I put together with everything that I've researched and the experiments. It's actually going to be launched on July 15th, but I have it available for pre-order for 75% off if you pre-order now. So that's a great way to actually save some bucks and get in on the list so that this can be for anybody, energy healers, yoga teachers, meditators, or anybody who want to enhance or bring these pyramid energy into your life and really amp up your confidence and your understanding in working with the pyramids. So that's on my about my the work that I do with women. I'm also a heart math trainer, so I do work with organizations, corporates, schools, in fact, law enforcement and military to trade about resiliency and stress management. That's also one of the programs that I offer. And from the events that I just spoke about the free events, they happen on our YouTube channel, which is again youtube.com/PMC Global. So please subscribe to the channel. Make sure that you click that bell icon so to get the notifications. And we are now every Saturday we'll be hosting an event. There is also a WhatsApp number that you can subscribe to, that you will get all the updates. The number is 312-625-2035. 312-625-2035. You can message this number if you have a question or how to get started, whatever questions you have. We have our team dedicated to support you in getting started with meditations. Or if you also have, if you want to get started meditation in your community, in your homes, we are happy to help you. All this work is done for free. So if you want to introduce meditation in your community, in your city or town, we are happy to help you in that, on getting started with that process, giving you all the resources, all the materials that you need, or we can also provide some teachers to come to do online events, or however we can to support you in that environment, in that mission, in that project. We have tons of literature on that. PSSmovement.org. Our website is now under construction, but it will be ready under pssmglobal.org. That's about the organization. And also the second thing that I want to mention is if your organization want to collaborate with our organization, I would love to discuss that with you to support So the main mission is to co-create in bringing this meditation to each and every corner of the planet. So it doesn't matter where you are. Our mission is to help you, support you in that process. So yes,
okay.
That's about it.
Okay.
Fantastic.
Dave, where can people get Interviewing Jesus and plug your website? And we're almost out of time.
Okay, my name is David Collis. I am the author of Interviewing Jesus the Man. It's a great book. You can get it at Amazon.com. I'm also a host on Nightlight, so it's Nightlight with David Collis, and I am the creator of a series of mystery symbols, and coming soon is my mystery symbols oracle deck. So you can get in touch with me at www.davidcollis.com.
Okay. Hey, I just want to thank Pari and David so much for a great show, and I hope everyone learned something, got a new perspective, and we'll be back tomorrow night and Friday, both nights at 9 o'clock, and you'll be thoroughly entertained. Thanks again,